And welcome back to Sports the NEMO Way, the 2000's episode, where we will be talking about the greatest duos from the 2000's. And hopefully by the end of it, we'll have the two greatest duos. I know I will. I just don't know about everybody else. So that being said, unfortunately, there's only four of us here again this week. Wade's out again. Hopefully this will be the last of this, and Wade can return. We'll have five of us for our last couple episodes, because we're almost done with basketball again. Jeez Louise.
Wipes.
That's crazy. Well, I don't think I have any more things to go over, so let's get started. Drew, can we keep our perfect streak going? Drew, who is your number 2 Mount Rushmore member for the 2000s?
I went with Tim Duncan and Tony Parker.
It is also my number 2. It was my number 2 as well.
Oh, I did not.
Oh, Alex!
I did not. I couldn't put 16 and 5 on my list. I couldn't do it.
It's hard. Well,
I mean,
16 and 5, as Alex has mentioned already.
I just want you to think about this. We literally spent an entire episode making fun of a guy, what was his name, Mickelson, for averaging like 19, 6, and 3.
True.
And now we're trying to put a guy on at 16 and 5.
This decade's not great. The 2000s, they're not cooking. Yeah. They're ice cold. Besides a couple people. There's some good individuals, but duos, no. Well, during the decade, him and Duncan won 3 titles, and Parker won one of the finals MVPs, actually. I'm trying to remember.
Is it 3 titles or 4?
3.
It
was 3.
The one's in 99.
The one's in 99.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And the other one's not till
12? Was it 12?
No.
11?
I think it's 14.
17? 14?
Yeah, they beat the Heat.
They beat the Heat in their last year together.
Okay.
Because they lose to the Mavericks in 11, and then the Heat win 12 and 13. Yeah, the Spurs won in 14.
Okay.
Yeah. They went to 1 and 13, and they lost because Ray Allen bailed LeBron out.
Oh, yeah. Imagine that. Either Ray Allen or the refs.
But the Spurs were just one of the dominant franchises during this time period. They got 3 titles. Tim Duncan's one of the greatest players in the league at this point in time. He's the top 5 player of the league. At first, Tony's not great. But he's slowly morphs into probably the second best player on the team. I would say a lot of people like Ginobili better. I don't. I'm not a Ginobili lover like a lot of people. Ginobili!
I just like it when Barkley does that.
So. But I thought with how weak this decade was, I thought Tony could sneak in there with Duncan with the team success and him getting better, and he got a Finals MVP in there. And I don't know. He didn't rely solely on Duncan. Duncan's obviously the number 1 in the group for sure, but Tony held his own once he got going.
How many titles does Tim have?
5.
More than LeBron?
Yep.
Sweet.
All right. Well, does anybody else have anything to add on old Timmy D and Tony Parker?
Oh, well, we didn't even mention Duncan won 2 MVPs during the 2000s.
And 9 all defense.
Oh, yeah.
And they were together for 9 years. So
Yeah. So.
Yeah, probably the longest reigning duo of the decade.
yes.
Now, well, that's something we talked about off air. There was some other duos that were pretty good, but they played together for a season or 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they weren't very long for each other. As well as there was a lot of great players in this decade that didn't have that second duo. To be honest with you, I think Duncan is very close to falling into this category. He just didn't really have that second part of the duo. Well, especially if you're going to compare it to like probably everybody in this room's number 1 duo. The second fiddle is really lacking comparatively.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, is it up to me now to give my other?
You are the oddball.
I am.
Who's your number 2?
Well, because I wanted Drew to be happy, I decided to put his favorite player on here.
Oh, no.
And I went with Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire,
Oh, brother.
who, we have 2 MVPs here as well.
I'm about to yank them both away.
Well, in their 6 years together, Steve Nash averaged 17 points, 3 rebounds, and 11 assists on shooting 51% from the field. Far, far superior to some guy named Parker that we see up there.
Okay.
Far, far superior, actually. More points, more assists by more than double. And Amari Stoudemire averaged 23 points, 9 rebounds, and assists, and a block on 56% shooting.
Drew?
My boy Timmy D runs circles around old Amari.
I don't know about it. I mean, I think Timmy D is better. Has had a much better career, but he didn't run no circles around Amari.
It's ridiculous.
Is it now?
It is.
Is it now?
It's ridiculous.
I think you ought to relook there, Drew.
Nope.
You just have a lot of hate in your heart, and you need to open your eyes to what I'm talking about here.
And don't be like the Democrats.
Okay. So yeah,
Who's a better player, Drew? Nash or Parker?
I mean, Steve Nash is better than Tony Parker. I mean,
okay. There you go. At least you're being honest.
There we go. Now we're back to where we need to be.
I won't deny that, but
I mean, Drew, you're looking at 2 MVPs during this 6-year run.
we got 2 MVPs from my boy Duncan.
I know, and 2 other MVPs from boy Nash here.
So
Old
they're
Nash,
even, they're even there.
They are indeed.
And then we add 3 titles.
You're right. 3 titles
Yeah.
is impressive. 3 titles is impressive. No doubt about it.
Tied for the most by a duo in the decade. Which we'll get to in a minute, who the other one is.
So when did Kobe and your Gasol boy started hooking up?
Oh,
They had
08.
about
Right at the end of
3
this?
years.
Right at the
Oh,
end.
08.
Yeah.
I mean, if the other one would have fell in the 2000s, I've been tempted to put Kobe on twice.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
one falls in 09, the next one's in 10, so they
Oh,
split it right there.
Yeah.
gotcha.
Because that was another duo that I really looked at, but they were only together 3 years in this decade.
Right.
Yeah.
It kind of went right because in the decade, 3 years, a title. Kobe had 3 LDs, an MVP, and statistically, they're ahead of anybody else other than what's probably going to be our number one.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't go the direction I thought you'd go.
Where did you think I was going to go?
Well, there's another duo that I looked at, and what killed them was the titles and accolades. But number-wise, T-Mac and Yao had a very productive 5 years.
I didn't even look at him. I mean, I love T-Mac, but when I thought of T-Mac during this time period, I looked at I was thinking of T-Mac in Orlando, and I was like, well, he has nobody. You know, there's
Yeah.
nobody in Orlando with
Doug,
him.
you got the stats?
Yeah.
Let's hear. Yeah, I want to hear it.
All right.
Yeah.
During their 5-year run together, T-Mac put up 23.1, 5.6, and 5.7. Yao put up 21, 9.6, and 1.6.
They played 5 years in this decade together.
I believe so. It's like from 94, 95 to 98, 99.
Huh? You mean 2005 to 2009? Not 95?
Yeah.
Huh?
04, 05 to
Oh, you're right. It is
Yeah.
04, 05 to 08, 09.
Yeah. So that was a strong contender for my number 2 spot. I thought long and hard about them, but the titles with Duncan and Parker got me, and more accolades. But T-Mac and Yao were pretty tough.
I'm a little disappointed right now.
T-Mac and yeah, that's not who I thought I was going to hear
I
tonight.
mean, I didn't look at Houston myself because I'm not a T-Mac fan, but I thought you'd have him in higher regard there, Alex.
Well, the other thing is, like, they were never fucking healthy when they were together.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, like,
Someone's knee hurt or someone's
like-
foot hurt.
like 2 of those seasons that, like, I love T-Mac. I'm not bashing T-Mac, but 2 of those seasons of those 2 of the 4, T-Mac played 40 games and 30 games.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why the accolades and stuff aren't there.
That makes
and
sense.
they had some pretty good battles with like the Lakers, and they ran into some tough teams. They're in the same half with the Lakers and the Spurs, who won a big chunk of the titles through the 90s.
Yeah.
2000s. Sorry.
2000s, yeah.
We gotta get off the 90s.
I'm still on last week. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't even look at it.
Anyway,
didn't.
I thought they should
Yeah.
be mentioned.
Okay.
I looked at a lot of people, though. I looked at Billups and Hamilton, and their numbers didn't really hold up. I looked at... Wow, I'm kinda
I had Nash and Dirk at one point. I was looking.
Yeah,
at.
I did. I looked at Nash and Dirk. I looked at combinations with Phoenix. I looked at Nash and Marion. I looked at Marion and Amari. I looked at obviously Nash and Stoudemire. So I did look at that. I looked at Jason Kidd and some of his Nets teammates. I looked at Paul Pierce and Antoine Walker.
The
Okay.
decade had some great players.
I try to find someone for Melo out in Denver.
Yep, I tried.
Yeah.
I looked
There's
at
just
Melo,
no
too.
one there.
Or Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're going to put him with Dikembe,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So
Well, should we talk about our number one?
you probably should.
Laker boys.
We're going back out to LA.
Laker boys.
So I guess we're looking at Shaq and Kobe.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Does anybody want to go over those that duo real quick?
Well, they won the first 3 titles of the decade. They ended up going to another one. Shaq wins an MVP while they're there. It's just typical Laker teams. It's an era of the Lakers.
Yeah.
Kobe and Shaq had their era.
Shaq had 3 LD. Kobe was 5-time LD. Shaq put up 27, 12, and 3. Kobe put up 26, 6, and 5. I mean, scoring wise, no other duo was really even close.
No. That's dangerous. When you put Kobe at the 2, like he's the number 2 person, he's a lot of our duos number 1 totals for a while. I mean, it's just wild, the player that Kobe turned into to play with Shaq. I mean, you can't. It's not like they traded for an all-star. He just turned into an all-star.
Yeah.
Kobe.
Well, it's just a testament to Jerry West.
Yeah.
I mean, West went out and got Shaq, and then he orchestrated the trade to get Kobe because he saw the potential.
And even with Phil Jackson, he's notable for dealing with these different egos and attitudes and
And
all
that's
these.
what it took with those
Yeah.
two.
It's a shame it wasn't together longer.
And it
Yeah.
could have been. They chose to blow it up.
Over some petty whatever it was. I don't even
Yeah.
remember.
Well,
I mean, you're talking about 2 just gigantic egos.
oh yeah.
Now, you would like to say, especially if you're like a Lakers fan or a fan of one of those players, you would like to think that winning championships would at least make them get along on the basketball court. You don't necessarily have to be friends, but you would
Winning
think,
the titles, yeah.
right? Especially you won 3 in a row, and then went back to the finals again. You did lose,
Right.
but it's not like you were like, oh, we missed the playoffs or something.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about 4 pretty nice seasons there.
Who did he lose? Was it the Pistons?
Pistons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
But-
they should have beat. But
But it's like one of those things of you would think all that winning would help them be like, you know what? I can put aside my pettiness and my feelings to win another championship. Because in reality, if they would have stayed together, I'm fairly positive they would have won some more.
Oh yeah.
Now, the dynamic would have changed at a certain point. I don't know what year that would have changed exactly, but Kobe would have become the better player, and Shaq would have become the second best player, and they would have had to make that work. And eventually Shaq was done before Kobe, but
Probably by about when Shaq goes to Miami, 05 to 06 is when it probably would have flipped over. Kobe's scoring, he wins his 2 scoring titles, and when they break it up, he averages like 35. Shaq's only averaging like 20.
well, that's part of it's because the Lakers suck, and
That too.
Kobe's just jacking shots all over the place, and Shaq is contending, so like and playing with another superstar. So I mean, that's some of it at least. But yeah, Shaq is not the same player in Miami he was in LA.
And you would also think that when you're on the brink of four-peating and going above and beyond what Jordan was doing in the 90s, why wouldn't that be a driving force to just keep going and shut the fuck up?
Well, that's the thing. They played the Pistons that year. If they go back, they don't. They lose to the Spurs, I think, the next year, and then after that, it's over. But if you think they would have had the Mavericks made the next year when they played the Heat, or no, the next year when the Spurs. Okay, I gotta do this in my head. I think there's a gap year. The Spurs, they don't go to 4 in a row. Isn't there a gap year? Isn't the next year don't the Spurs play the Nets because the Nets make 2 in a row? And Jason Kidd goes back to back with the Nets. I feel like, and then we go and play the Pistons, and then it's over.
You're right. It's not 4 in a row. You're right.
Because the Nets go back to back, then the Pistons go back to back, and then it's Miami, and then it's Cleveland.
Yeah. You guys won, lost in the second round to the Spurs, and then went to the finals and lost to the Pistons.
Yeah. Because the Nets go back to back, and then the Pistons beat the Lakers, and they lose to the Spurs, and then it's LeBron's year in Cleveland. They get swept. Tony Parker wins Final MVP, and then it's the Celtics and Lakers in 08, and then it's Lakers and Magic in 09, and then it's Lakers, Celtics, Jets, and yep, there it is. So yeah, I mean, if say Shaq stays, D Wade's not going by himself. So I don't.
Well, Shaq staying with the Lakers, I know this isn't necessarily a legacy conversation, but Shaq staying with the Lakers and Kobe changes a lot of the NBA landscape because, like we talked about, you're also talking about Shaq and Kobe winning more championships, but you're talking about Dwayne Wade having one last championship,
Right. Yeah.
which is
His most important one to me.
Yeah, it is his most important one, and that's damaging to his legacy to have one less championship, the championship he was the best player on,
Right.
and
It might hurt Powell because maybe Powell never comes to LA if Shaq's. I mean, no, Shaq's getting older by then, but they might do something different. I don't know.
it very easily could mess that up, and then Powell maybe ends up staying in Memphis and is just like a 20 points, 10 rebounds guy for a long time and never wins anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty damaging to his legacy.
Some pretty big implications.
Right. But anyway, pretty awesome duo with Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
Even though they beat my fucking Pacers that first title, you sons of bitches.
That's another duo, I think, kind of like Stockton and Malone. You talk about,
yeah.
you bring them up.
Yeah, it's pretty iconic. So we got to decide between Tim and Tony and Nash and Amari.
Yeah, Drew, why don't you get it together here, buddy?
I'm good. I'm staying with my boy, Big Tony.
Big Tony.
Big Tony down in San
the
Antonio.
only Big Tony is Tony the Tiger. So calm it down there.
Or Big Tony in jail.
No, yeah.
Big Tony. Let me get that cornbread.
What were Nash's numbers again?
17 and 11.
So it's 1 more point and then, 6 more assists?
Yeah, 5 or 6 more.
Yep.
Who's the number 1 in that duo? Nash or Amari?
Number 1 in what? Scoring or
No,
assisting?
who would be the number 1 like to do it? Like who would?
I don't know. Probably the guy with the MVPs.
Oh no,
I don't know.
no.
They do different things. That's what makes them a great duo.
Yeah, they just
One rebounds and scores. One, assists and takes care of the ball. One shoots from the outside. One dunks on everybody's head. They just complement each other. They are what
Nash shot from outside.
Yeah, he's a great 3-point shooter. I mean, he has a higher 3-point percentage than Reggie Miller.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
How many finals did Nash go to?
0.
Zero.
Oh no.
Suck on that.
Oh, so you're gonna pull the LeBron?
Right.
Losing finals is great now. Oh man.
No, but at
He got me.
least he made the one.
It's true. He did. He did.
Well, and that was the deciding factor for me between was the three titles, Parker and Duncan.
Oh man, I don't know. Do I want to flip with 3 titles? I don't know. This is a rough one. Because Nash is the better player.
but Duncan's the better player on the other end.
That's true.
If we're comparing 1s to 2s, then
I'd really like to know what Wade thinks.
Oh yeah.
well, since it's not Ginobili, he might go with Tony Parker because Wade, I don't think, likes Ginobili.
No, Wade does not like Ginobili.
But they were both Tony and Nash were pretty shitty on defense, weren't they?
Yeah.
yeah, I know.
Man, I don't know.
The reason why sometimes this is what Wade would say Parker's numbers are so low is because Pop and them would do like that extra pass stuff. Like they were like, if you really look at the Spurs teams, none of them had huge assist numbers. No one on the team had really high assist numbers. So, but Tony's are probably one of the higher ones on there to begin with because Pop would always say extra pass and get easy buckets and stuff. I mean. So instead of just having one person like Steve Nash, so that's part of the reason why Tony Parker's assist numbers are lower.
So what you're saying is you're bringing the argument down for Tim and Tony.
No, they're playing more team basketball.
Yeah,
They're not having one guy pass the ball.
Right, so it's more team than duo.
Oh, man, look at this Ray guy over here.
You're screwing up the argument for us, and now I have to flip to Nash and Amari.
Well, all I'm saying is over their careers, Timmy D had a great career. He really did. But over this 6-year period that Amari and Nash played together, Amari, outscored him by multiple points a game. He was like 4 points better in field goal percentage, so he was scoring more and more efficiently.
And Tim had 2 MVPs and 9 all defense.
Oh, but Nash had 2 MVPs, and
yeah, but he didn't deserve it.
Well, not to take them away, Alex.
We'll talk about that later.
We can take them both easily away. It's not even close.
I don't know, man. I might have to give him a third one. He probably deserves another one.
No.
This guy was out here just balling. You saw that video I showed you earlier.
Yeah, you were showing me highlights of a dunk contest and saying this guy is
Right, because he was getting all of his teammates wide open dunks with his great passing.
In a dunk contest, no one's
Okay, so let me ask
guarding
you this. Let me ask you this. If I showed you a highlight package of Magic Johnson, wouldn't there be a whole bunch of highlights of his teammates dunking the basketball?
Not a dunk contest, though.
Well, that was one highlight.
No, that was 2 in a row. You showed me
Because he
2.
passed the ball off his forehead.
If your highlight package has to have your passes from a dunk contest, you gotta be kidding me.
It was 25 minutes long, dude. Oh, Nashy Poo. You're just strengthening my argument here.
No.
Don't get mad because all of Tim Duncan's highlights for banking off the backboard.
He was Mr. Fundamental for a reason.
The big fundamental.
Yeah, big.
Fundamental.
By the way, Nash's nicknames on here, I guess I never looked at them before. They're pretty great. He's MV Stevie.
They gotta take that on there.
Nasty.
Nasty.
Is
Okay.
Nasty Poo on
No,
there?
it is not.
Oh, that's my favorite one. It's not even on there.
This is Steve Nasty.
It's ridiculous.
You know, he's related to, he's a brother from another mother to from Thug Nasty. He's Steve Nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got about that. Well, what type of Tony Parker nicknames you got for me, Drew?
Let me pull him up. Let me pull up old Tony's.
What are you calling him? French fry?
TP.
Toilet paper?
Yep, toilet paper. Yep, that's good.
Dude wipes?
What's this?
Come on. What, you
I'm
want?
trying to figure out how to pronounce this.
Is it French?
One of them's the
Fiery friend co-file? I don't know. It looks too much like pedophile, so I'm just gonna delete him from my lexicon here because
I'm not gonna say.
the Parisian torpedo.
The what? I guess we need a French lesson for these.
The
Parisian torpedo.
Parisian.
yeah, Parisian
Okay.
torpedo. Yeah.
And the other one, yeah. Fiery Frank. Yeah.
Steve Nasty. Yeah. MV Stevie.
And Parker does have a finals MVP.
It does.
That's what I'm saying.
What was it? 06, 07, something like that.
Yeah, it's the 07 finals.
That's true. That's very true.
I just feel like, my ultimate goal here is to soften the hardness that is Drew's heart. And because he has a lot of hate in his heart. And between me and Jesus, we're going to soften that heart. Okay?
No, Steve Nash. Him and Chris Paul have their own spots. And it's not in my heart.
Is it in hell?
I'm not going to say where they're at.
He averaged 24, 5, and 3 in that finals.
That's
my
a
guy.
one finals.
That's my one more than Nash.
That's true.
Yeah, because Nash didn't play with Tim fucking Duncan.
Yeah.
Oh, so now Tim Duncan's good.
Tim Duncan's
We never
awesome.
said he was
I thought Stoudemire averaged more points during the span. So why didn't he carry him?
He did.
Then why didn't he carry him?
I was just stating facts.
Then why didn't he carry him? Because I guess Tim Duncan carried Parker.
He did.
We're talking about
I guess they couldn't carry each
I'm
other.
pretty sure every person in this room had Tim Duncan like their top 5 players all time.
Yeah. Best power
Maybe
forward
not
all
five.
time.
Yeah, we all had him as the best power forward.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
We all can agree on that.
I mean, Ginobili averaged 17, 5, and 2 in this finals.
Oh boy.
And I think they just kind of balled out. They
Yeah.
had a great series. Timmy D averaged 18 and 11. Not exactly as fine as finals, but
We're playing LeBron.
Oh, big F.
LeBron averaged 22, 7, and 6
Yeah. Subpar.
on 35% shooting.
Oh, he was chucking.
Chucking or free throwing, huh?
Ugh.
What was this? 08?
07.
07. Yeah. Dirt leg LeBron.
Dirt leg.
Oh, shoot.
Well, do we need a call for a decisive vote here?
Who do we call?
I don't know.
Who are you going to call?
Drew Mallet.
We need Wade.
Buddy up? Or is he napping too?
I don't know. Buddy's was changing shifts at work, and I can't remember which one he said he was changing to.
What about Mark? Is this too late for Mark? Or would he
Mark's at work.
What about Robbie D?
Yeah, what about Robert?
Son? I'll call Robert.
Call that dirty Dolphins fan up.
He's a Celtics fan, so he might be.
He has a soft spot in his heart for Tim Duncan and Tony Parker, though. So I'm
Does
fine
he?
with- Yeah, that's his second team.
Fuck that call. You better read him off the stats. You know, this ain't no Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in 30 seconds, so we got plenty of time.
I'll call him and see what he says.
Does he have a lot of hate in his heart for old Stevie Nash like you do?
I don't know. That I don't know about.
You know, 2-time MVP Steve Nash.
Okay.
Maybe 3-time MVP Steve Nash.
Two-time.
Well, hopefully it's not at football practice. We'll see.
Oh, whatever.
It should be late enough.
Old FaceTime.
Was that an Apple phone?
We're on Snapchat.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Old Snappy Chat with his little...
Oh. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. All right. We got a question for you on the podcast.
All right, shoot.
All right. So we're doing the 2000s. And Dad and I picked Tony Parker and Tim Duncan. And
Hold
then,
on, you gotta preface it like
I don't know. I'm telling everybody first. And then Ray and Alex picked Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire.
but what are we picking? What is this?
And then this is the number 2 duo of the decade. Shaq and Kobe are 1. Say Tony and Tim won 3 titles. Tim Duncan won 2 MVPs. He was all defense. And then Nash won 2 MVPs, and they didn't make any finals, obviously.
Aren't those guys the ones that are always crapping on Steve Nash, though?
I'm the one that craps on Steve Nash. The other 2 are Steve Nash lovers. They love Nashy Poo.
With his 2 MVPs.
Yeah, I'm about to take away his MVP when he averaged 15 and 11. So,
I mean, maybe I'm a little biased, but I like Parker and Duncan.
Yeah,
there you go, Robert. That's what Dad and I were
you
saying.
son of a bitch.
I mean, and Tony Parker's got a Finals MVP.
Hey, all I gotta say is...
You guys probably already knew that's what I was voting.
Hey, fuck.
I tried to tell him before. I said he got a soft spot in his heart for the Spurs.
All I'm gonna say is now I'm leaving the Celtics off my 2020 duos because they can't. One of them can't even make the Olympic team, and the other one doesn't play when he gets there.
Yeah, and fuck you and your hawk. Fuck you and your hawk Tua.
Yo, no.
Because he doesn't have a Nike deal.
Oh,
And I bet he spit on that thing too.
Oh, God.
We'll see him in the finals next year. They can see him catch him in the finals next year.
Oh,
man.
man.
Halliburton for 3.
Oh,
Celtics go out of the playoffs.
Oh, no. Well, anyways, thank you for that.
Thanks, Robert.
Sounds good. I'll talk to you guys later.
Yep.
yeah, you gotta come on the pod sometime, man.
Awesome. Yeah, sounds good. Plan on it.
All right, later. I'll talk to you later.
Yep, I'll see you.
Bye.
Little son of a bitch.
Told you.
Yeah, it is what it is. We're talking about Tim.
Yeah, that's
Duncan.
fine. All right.
I really just want to give Drew a hard time more than anything.
Well, it's nice to get Robert a call.
Yeah.
Get him involved again.
Robert's been on what, 2 or 3 episodes?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we talk sports with Robert a lot.
Oh, yeah. Me and him talk sports all the time about stuff.
And Dan is really into sports, too. I mean,
Yeah.
so.
All right. Well, shall we move on to our MVP discussion?
Oh, yeah. Same suspects are coming up again.
Still talking about at least one of the same people.
Yeah, I think we're gonna take Tim Duncan's MVP.
No. We're going to the years 2004, 2005.
Mm.
Winner of the MVP is Steve Nash. And we talk about a bad year. Homeboy averaged 15 points, 3 rebounds, 11 assists, and a steal on 50% shooting.
How many blocks did he have?
0.1.
That's what I'm talking about.
And then came in second was Shaq, who averaged 23, 10, 2 assists, half a steal, and 2 blocks. Which, honestly,
That's not a very good year anyway.
Well, not only that, but we just talked about earlier in this episode how Shaq wasn't even the best player on his own team.
yeah, then this is in Miami. Honestly, Dirk's probably should be number 2. Dirk averaged 26, 9.7, 3 assists, a steal, and 1.5 blocks. Shot 45% from the field.
Oh yeah, yeah. Not as clear cut as you thought it was, huh?
His are so much better. Who else? I mean, Tim Duncan averaged another double-double. He was 20, 11, 2.7. 0.7 steal, 2.5 blocks on 49% shooting. I mean, my guy LeBron averaged 27, 7, 7, 2.
He's
On
nobody's
47%
Your guy,
shooting.
LeBron? Is that what you just said?
He's nobody's guy.
My guy, I mean, I'd give it LeBron over Steve Nash.
Oh, calm down.
T-Mac averaged 25, 6, and 5.
The Cavs won 42 games. Like, come
I mean,
on
you
now.
could argue Steve Nash not the best player on his team. Amari averaged 26, 9, 1.5 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. I'm just saying.
Off lobs from Steve Nash.
Yeah, the Canadian destroyer.
Isn't he from South Africa?
He's Canadian.
Nash is Canadian.
I think he was born in South Africa and then he went to Canada.
You may be right.
Well, let's fact check that.
I got you.
I bet you do.
It says he was born in Johannesburg, South Africa.
Okay.
I know he lives in Canada and he played for the Canadian Olympic team. And he went to college in Canada.
Oh, here we go. Here's Wade's
Or high
pick.
school, I mean, sorry.
Here's Wade's pick.
Yeah,
Elton
he-
Brand,
Kind of
24
player.
points, 10 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 1 steal, 2.5 blocks on 52% shooting. That's better than Steve
Elton
Nash.
Brand had a
Where are you
pretty good
seeing this
season.
at? Where's Brand at?
Oh, shit. I was on the wrong year.
I was going to say,
Oh,
I don't see Brand on
That's
this
still
list.
better than Steve Nash's next year, too. I mean, who else we got on here? Vince Carter, 24, 5, and 4. Just saying.
So, really what you're saying is assists don't matter.
Well, I mean,
That's your
those lower guys, they weren't as. If you want to make the argument for LeBron, I'll take almost double the points for 4 less assists. Well, 3 less assists, actually.
But who elevated their team the most?
Probably LeBron more. He carried those Cavs.
Had
team.
42 wins?
I'll be
Oh, yeah, he was a master of his craft that year.
There is a 20 win difference between the two teams.
They both ended in the same scenario. No title. How far did the Suns make it that
Okay.
year?
They lost in the Western Conference Finals.
4-1.
Is that the suspension year?
Oh, that could be.
Suspension year.
Yeah, what's the suspension?
Where like half the Suns got suspended for leaving the bench during when
Right.
Robert
Oh,
shot at
really?
Steve Nash.
Oh, no way.
Big bitch Bob went out there and cheap shot
Whoa,
somebody
whoa.
to.
Don't talk about my boy Big Shot Bob like that.
Big bitch Bob screwed him over.
It wasn't him though. The whole team was taking turns cheap shotting Steve Nash.
Yeah, because they were mad about this MVP with 15.
No, they were mad because he was busting their ass,
Oh,
and they broke his nose and kicked him in the balls, and then slammed him into the scorer's table, and then his team tried to stand up for him, and they suspended his team.
doesn't sound like the loving Spurs I know.
Are you sure about that?
I'll be honest with you.
No, yeah. No, yeah.
Bruce Bowen was a dirty ball player. Right? Uncle Doug will side with me on this. Bruce Bowen was
Yeah.
a dirty ball player.
He was. He was known as Mr. Defense, but his defense.
Oh, not one of those guys,
Oh,
Mr.
yeah.
Defense, Mr. Just foul you all game.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You got it.
Exactly.
When you tell me you're Mr. Defense, you're just fouling me and getting
Yep.
away with it.
That was his role.
I give you that.
He was a Kobe stopper.
Oh Lord,
Yes.
not the Kobe stop.
He was one of those.
Kobe stop. I love that. I'm a Kobe stopper, but he just averaged 28, 5, and 5 on me.
There was a few of those guys.
But I'm a Kobe stopper. Well, there were a couple of Jordan stoppers too, supposedly, during his time.
I mean, you saw the reaction.
Yeah,
to-
Detroit.
Well, that was just like I said, team defense. It was more like team fouling on beating up Michael.
Well,
Yeah.
If it wasn't during the game, they'd get charged for like assault.
there was. I mean, you saw the reaction to Peyton, the glove, in the finals. For 2 games. And Jordan had 2 bad shooting nights. It was he's the Jordan stopper, and that we would have won the title, but it's George Karl's fault. And then
He didn't let me guard him the first 3 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole interview was
Okay.
hilarious.
Well, then what happened in Game 6,
Yeah.
Gary? Why do we stop?
No, I'll be honest with you. I do like giving Drew a hard time, and I do think Drew underrates Steve Nash a little bit. But I've said for years that I thought this was Dirk Nowitzki's MVP.
That's fine.
So I'm not really going to change my pick on this. This was one of Dirk's best seasons, and I thought he deserved the MVP. Although that being said, I don't think Dirk deserved the MVP he won.
Ah.
What year did he win?
It's a year or two later.
I'll find it. He won in 07 or 06, 07.
What was the year they went to the finals?
2011.
Okay.
Well, they went to two.
Oh,
They lost one and won one, right?
so this is the year right after they went to the finals. This year he wins his MVP because they went the year before and lose to the Heat. Because he loses to Shaq and D Wade.
you're
okay.
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is right after his finals run.
And then he won the important one against LeBron James.
That's still the most. It's the most one finals can impact someone's career. Like, I mean, some of these people you get your first title, but who he beat in that finals, and he did it in 6 games. They didn't go to, no, did they go to 7 games?
What's finals?
Was it the Mavericks and the Heat? Did they go when LeBron and Dirk play? Did it go 7 or did it just go 6?
I feel like it was a 6.
I think it was a 6.
Because they won in Dallas, right? They didn't have to go back to Miami for Game 7.
I think you're right.
Yeah, because that was not LeBron's good.
No, that was
choke artist.
yeah. LeBron fans even admit that was not good. That was bad.
But
Well, up until he won that first one, he wasn't known for being a playoff performer. Like at that point in time, he was a choker in the playoffs. He was not.
Dirk, you mean?
No, LeBron, because he got swept by the Spurs and then he loses to the Mavericks.
oh, yeah.
I mean, at that point, he was not.
When they lost to the Mavericks, I think people forget because they won the next 2 years. Like, I don't think the league knew what to do.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it was
Because here
devastating.
2 years in, because the first year, everybody said, well, it takes them a while to develop chemistry and all that.
And then they lose.
And everybody thought the next year they were winning it all.
Yeah, because the first year they lose to the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals in 2010. No, they're only together
No.
4 years.
They lost, they won, they lost.
Yeah.
They lost to the Mavericks.
Okay.
They
That's right. The Mavericks
they beat-
was first.
They beat the
they beat the Thunder.
Right.
They beat the Spurs and they lost to the Spurs.
Spurs, yeah.
They should have lost to the
Yeah.
Spurs again.
Yeah, everybody made excuses for him all regular season about how you got to get used to each other. You got to get used to each other. And then the playoffs rolled around and they made the finals. And then the Mavericks with one superstar just rolled them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And Dirk was just hitting fadeaway jumper after fadeaway jumper. And J.J. Barea guarding LeBron James.
LeBron stopper.
It was a LeBron stopper. He earned his name.
2011.
Oh, that's 3-point percentage. I was looking at Kobe's numbers this year that Dirk won. And at first, I thought it said he shot 34% from the field. I'm like, no way. He was really just chucking. No, he shot 46. I don't want to know how many shots he took, but
Well, I'm assuming this year, maybe we talked about this and I missed it. 76ers and Cavs were both bad this year, right? Record-wise.
Oh, yeah. I went away from the page. Hold on.
76.
The Cavs won 42 games. The 76ers won 43 games.
Yeah, okay, so they're
That year, Dallas does win 58, though.
because really AI and LeBron have pretty good numbers.
They have nice numbers. Their teams are no good.
I mean, in reality, there are some good numbers. I mean, Amari puts up some good numbers. Dean Wade puts up some good numbers. Garnett puts up some good numbers. Like, there are some guys down here that even Gilbert Arenas put up some good numbers.
Yeah.
Gilbert Arenas.
He averaged 25, 4, and 5. Garnett's 22, 13, and 5 with a steal and a block. I don't know what Minnesota did, but
Probably nothing.
won 44 games. He's another guy, though, that he was in purgatory out there in Minnesota for so long.
Yeah, not a soul was out there with him. Or up there, I should say.
Yeah, it's an anomaly. We're seeing Minnesota with a squad these days.
Now, I really think this is my honest to God opinion. I think there is a handful of MVPs given out during this time period right here, right in the early 2000s, that you could do this with. Just shuffle them.
I think so too.
Because they gave out I think they gave out some makeup MVPs
Right.
in this era.
Somebody that they slighted, and later on they give them one because they're close. And somehow Shaq got passed over and finished second a bunch.
He did.
Yeah.
But I'm with Alex. I really think Dirk's the guy this year.
Yeah, I'd be good with that.
I mean, Iverson and James put up really good numbers. Shaq's numbers are good, but I think Dirk's really got the numbers.
Well, Ray, Drew, what are you thinking?
I'd be fine with Dirk.
Yeah, it's all right.
All right. So are we unanimous? Dirk Nowitzki? Is that what we're saying here?
Yeah, it's cool.
I think
I ain't
so.
no problem with Dirk.
All right. Well, unanimous MVP change to old Dirk. Either give Dirk his second or give him this one and take his other one. I don't know. We'll see. But we appreciate you tuning in for this 2000s episode, which I think was enjoyable. We would appreciate you tuning in next week for our 2010s episode. We'll be discussing the duos from the 2010s, and I haven't done them yet, so I don't even have any smart things to say.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm not going to have
before
LeBron
you
on my
go,
list.
I have a text from Wade,
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
and I sent him a note, told him who we were discussing, and Robbie D said, and all I have from Wade is Tim D and Parker.
Well, good. That's how it went.
So,
Yeah. He just texted me, too. He's like, sorry about forgetting the list. It's been a rough night.
no problem.
Dude wipes. Dude wipes.
Well, we would appreciate you tuning in next week. We would also appreciate you emailing, commenting, giving us some love online, whether it's on social media or subscribing.
Sports the NEMO Way at gmail.com. But also, we're going to start are we? Promoting the...
Nope.
Nope.
Next
Okay.
week.
Roger that. Next week.
And, just so while we're on top of it, just because I want a shameless plug, you can also listen to Ray and I's other podcast, Blockbuster Bums, on YouTube.
Yep. September 10th is the season premiere. Am I not mistaken?
I do believe that's correct.
Yeah,
So
I'm
get
looking
ready.
forward to it.
So get ready for
I'm ready
that.
to listen to it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we appreciate you tuning in to Sports the NEMO Way.